our yoga practice today. We've got a level 1-2 flow. It's going to be, sorry, I'm going to get my mat straight. So it'll be a fairly gentle practice with some strength building. And today I want to focus on alignment, but in a different way from how you might normally have focused on alignment. So instead of focusing on getting correct alignment, we're going to focus on kind of breaking out of the box of alignment. So I don't want you to worry today about getting it right or doing the alignment correctly. You'll see as we go. I'll give you some new cues and things to get into your body some more. So we'll just begin with a little meditation. You can sit up straight, let your eyes close, and start to deepen your breath. Just breathing through the nose. Let your jaw be completely relaxed. And as you breathe, paying attention to all the sensations in your body. And as you continue to breathe now, I'd like you to start to move just a little bit. You can lean forward, you can lean back, a little side to side, move your arms. I want you to just kind of almost fidget a little bit and find a space that feels really comfortable for you to sit in. Is the default way that you sat, is that the most comfortable? Or maybe leaning back a little bit, maybe you might have been slightly off balance, maybe you can lean to the left or the right, or sometimes maybe actually being what others might say is off balance, like maybe if you look visibly like you're leaning, that might actually feel better to you. So try to just in this very simple seated posture, break out of the tyranny of alignment rules that we have to be looking a certain way, and see if you can feel into what feels the best to you. And maybe you find a slightly new position that feels really good to you. Maybe the original position is what feels the best. But whenever you find that place that feels the most natural, the most easeful, just really let yourself observe that. Take a few breaths into that. It could only be just like a few micro movements that you made. It might even look the same from the outside, but perhaps it feels just a little bit more perfect. And just take a few breaths and notice that new, easy seat. And so that's the approach we're going to take in almost all of our poses today. I'm going to encourage you to think outside the box and to move your body and position your body in a way that feels good for you, even if it doesn't follow the exact rules. So we're going to start now by coming onto hands and knees. We'll just do a little cat's breath to wake up the body. And so as you inhale, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, the head. And as you exhale, rounding the spine, chin into the chest. Just move that way with your own breath for a few rounds. And maybe doing it a little different from how you normally do. However that may be. Maybe normally you tuck the tailbone first, and this time instead round your head down first and do the tailbone last. Or maybe go not as deep as you normally do, or a little deeper. Maybe emphasize the left side a little bit on one round. The next round, emphasizing the other side. Using your shoulder blades, maybe leaning a little back or leaning a little forward. Just see how you can change the movement up. Relax that jaw. We'll do 2 more breaths. And then we're going to sit back into child's pose. And as you sit back, hips to the heels, you choose. You can bring your knees together, you can bring them wide, you can have them somewhere in between. Maybe try it a couple different ways and see what feels best for you. As you relax your upper body down and your head down, try it with your hands. Your hands could be wide, hands could be narrow. You could have the hands closer to you and more relaxed, or stretch them farther out. Just do a little experimentation. You can always come back to child's pose anytime throughout the practice. And now we're going to make our way to downward dog, so you can start to lift up onto hands and knees. So I'm going to give you some general alignment, but not real specific today, because I want you to play with it yourself. Your hands come out in front of you a ways. Curl the toes under, take a deep inhale, and when you're ready, exhale, straighten those legs and hips to the sky. So breathing into your downward dog. Most important thing in all of our poses today is going to be awareness in your body and placing your body intentionally so that you're not haphazard. You're really putting your feet where you know where you're putting your feet. Maybe you put them closer together than usual, but you do that on purpose, or maybe you put them farther apart than usual. Try it out. See how it feels in your hips and your legs. Yeah. Because everybody's body structure is different. You know, we have different proportions. We have different levels of strength. Let's take 2 more breaths. The exact same alignment is not going to be ideal for every person. Okay, set the knees down. Sit back in child's pose. Maybe you try a different child's pose than you did last time. Relaxing the head down, the neck down. Breathing deep, feeling your body. And we'll come up into downward dog again, and this time focusing a little more on the upper body. So rising up onto hands and knees when you're ready, straighten those legs. And this time experiment with the hands. Are the hands farther apart? I'm always teaching you to put them really far apart. Maybe you bring them a little bit closer and see how that feels in your shoulders. Everybody's got different shoulder flexibility, just your natural range of motion with the shoulder. So find out what feels ideal, what feels good to you. And you may not even know what feels good to you just yet, but this experimentation is going to help you find out in your practice. Try having the fingers close together or the fingers far apart. If your wrists hurt, you could try coming up onto your fingertips, all the way onto your fingertips. What happens then? How does that change your shoulders? 2 more breaths. Okay, from here we're walking forward, walking to a forward bend. Walk those feet towards the hands. Folding down. So forward bend, we have so many options here. You can have your knees bent a lot, especially if the hamstrings are really tight. A lot of times in yoga we think we have to be stretching a lot all the time. You don't. It's not even necessarily better. A stretch is fine, but you don't have to be like pushing up hard against the edge all the time. So feel free to bend the knees a lot, especially if it feels good to you. You can hold on to the feet. You can hold on to your elbows. You can have your feet close together. You can have them far apart. Try it out. Notice what you're feeling in your body. 1 more breath. And then we'll slowly rise up. Inhale, coming all the way up. And reach the arms up. And then exhale, release the hands down. And so now we'll practice mountain pose. And mountain pose, same thing, we can have a lot of different ways that you can do mountain pose. There's several different ways that I teach it. So feel free to experiment as we go. I'm going to give you a bunch of alignment cues, but you can always adjust them and change it up. So let's have the feet close together. I usually teach at hip distance apart. Let's bring the feet close together. Lift your toes up and take a few breaths with your toes lifted up, feeling into your feet and your legs. Just noticing what the toe lift does. What is the purpose of it in your body? Where does it bring your awareness to? And then let your toes set down. Just relax them. And notice what happens in your feet. When you relax your toes, where does your awareness go? Where does it how does it change from where it was before? We're going to do the same with the kneecaps. Lift your kneecaps up. So that's tightening the quadriceps, kind of tightening those muscles right above the knees. When you do that, are there other muscles that also necessarily activate and come on? What happens there? Just notice what occurs. What happens below the knees when you engage the kneecaps on the quadriceps? What happens in the lower leg and the feet? Take a deep breath. And then relax. Relax the knees, relax the legs. And now the pelvis, the tailbone tuck. So engaging the glutes, scooping the pelvis under, engaging the lower belly. Everything, but we're not keeping the ones prior. So you've let go of the kneecaps, you've let go of the toes. Now we're just engaging the pelvis, the tailbone tuck, and notice what happens there. Where is your awareness drawn to? What happens above the pelvis? What happens below? And then relax that. And standing strong now, you don't have to engage any of that, but bring your awareness to your entire lower body. And what feels like any of those cues, any of those suggestions, what helps you most to stand strong in your legs? Would you use one of them or two of them or none of them? You might feel totally strong and aware in your legs without doing any of them. You might decide you want to step your feet wider. Do that if you want to. So we'll maintain awareness in the legs as we continue up the body. And you can use any of those engagements if you want to, or none. But now moving to the rib cage. Take a deep breath into the rib cage. As you inhale, feel the rib cage rise and inflate. And then keep it lifted as you exhale. So kind of an exaggerated rib cage and chest lift. And take a few breaths with that. Just the rib cage. And notice what's affected. What happens to your shoulders? What happens to your neck? What happens to the belly and the pelvis? And then relax the rib cage down. And take a breath into it now, relaxed. And just kind of compare in your own experience of your body. Did the lifted, inflated rib cage help you with anything at all? Did it feel better or worse, harder or easier? Maybe it changed your mood. Could make you feel more armored or more open. Okay, now the shoulders. Roll the shoulders up and back, squeezing them back so you can feel the muscles between the shoulder blades active. What happens in your torso when you do that? How does the rest of your body compensate for that movement? What happens in your neck and your head? And then slowly relax the shoulders. Kind of going to your default position, just how the arms hang naturally. comparing that. Better or worse? More ideal, less ideal? And then the head and neck. So maybe like we did when we were seated, how you could move a little bit forward, a little bit back, just your head and neck. Shift slightly side to side, forward to back, reaching up a little bit. Is there some position that you can give your head and neck that's better than the default? Or is the default perfect? And then if there's any tension you're holding in the neck and head for that, just let it go. Back to the default, wherever it lands. And now I'd like you, if your eyes aren't already closed, to close the eyes and just take a moment with this simple standing posture. We call it mountain pose. And if you want to, you can use any of the alignment that you've learned in your whole yoga practice, or anything I just said in the last few minutes, or none of it. But find out, how can you stand tall and feel like a mountain in your own body, in your own way, without feeling like you have to follow somebody's rules about this is right or that is wrong. Maybe you have your own little adjustment that you can make that will create that stability, that strength, and that ease. Good, okay. So that one we went through kind of a little bit lengthy, and as we go through all the poses now today, I invite you to do that in every single pose. I'll give some cueing towards it, but I'm not going to do it constantly because it could be rather annoying. But we're just going to play like that, and I want you to think outside the box of the normal yoga rules. So let's step to the front of the mat. Bring your hands together at your heart. Bring your awareness into your whole body and give yourself permission to find the correct alignment for you. Nobody else can tell you what that is. Nobody else could ever tell you what that is. Inhale, reach your arms up. Lift your heart to the sky if you like, a little standing back bend. Exhale, forward bend. Going to go into some classical sun salutations. Relax in the forward bend for a couple breaths. Slowing your breath down. And then bend your knees, bring your hands down. We're stepping the left foot only back. And set the back knee down for low lunge. So maybe you adjust where that back knee sets down. Maybe a little closer, further back. Maybe moving the right foot out or in. Finding your best balance point. You can keep the hands down if you like, or reach them up to the sky. So a few breaths in the low lunge, adjusting it as needed. bring the hands down. Step the right foot back. And so now we'll do Ashtangasana, knees, chest, and chin come to the floor. Take a breath there. If anything hurts, don't do it. So you can always adjust the pose. Like if you just need to set the hips down so it doesn't hurt, do that. Whatever you need to do to keep from hurting yourself. And now we'll slide all the way through onto the belly for Cobra. So let's spend a few moments here. You can try it a few different ways. Bring your hands in close. Bring your hands out far. Try a couple different hand positions for your Cobra. In general, what makes Cobra is that the legs are on the ground, the pelvis is on the ground, and we're lifting up through the chest. That's the basic shape. You can adjust the rest. Bring the feet in closer, bring the feet wider. Relax your jaw, breathe into your body. And then slowly lower down. We'll go back to downward dog now, pressing back and up, hips to the sky. Bring your feet together and inhale the left leg back and up. And just reach the leg, get a good stretch. And then we'll step the foot through. However you need to make that foot through, you can set the back knee down early if you like. Left foot between the hands, back knee is down. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Adjust your foot position and your knee position until it feels ideal for you. You can always keep the hands down, keep the hands on the knee, or reach arms up to the sky. Deep inhale. And exhale, bring your hands down and we step forward. So back toes curl under, step that back foot to the front of the mat, forward bend again. And you can change it up each forward bend. Try it differently. And if you're the kind of person that likes to do it exactly the same every time, I'm challenging you to not do that. Because I know we can get into our habits and it can feel really comfortable to have the same routine. But challenge your mind today to do something a little bit different. Okay, slowly rise up, inhale. Coming all the way up, reaching up and back. So tucking the tailbone could help your back feel better here, or maybe not. Try it without tucking the tailbone, see how it feels to lean back and do a standing back bend, and then we'll exhale, forward bend. This time, right foot steps back for the low lunge. Set the back knee down. Try it a little bit different. Maybe put the knee a little closer. And reach up. There's also an option for a pulsation here, so you can inhale and press through the front foot and lift your hips a little bit. And exhale, sink the hips down. So if you want to, you can try that. Inhaling, lifting a little. Exhale down. And then release the hands down. Step back. Ashtangasana, knees, chest, and chin. Couple breaths and modify it any way you need to. And slide through onto the stomach. Cobra, Bhujangasana. So generally one of those alignment cues is to draw the shoulders down. The purpose of that is to take away excess tension from your neck. But who knows? Try it. Let your shoulders go up to your ears. If it doesn't hurt you, if it feels good, it's not wrong in any way. Try different shoulder positions. Try different elbow positions. Try your hands like downward dog. Try them differently. And then slowly lower down. And press back to downward facing dog. And feet together. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot through. Set that back knee down for the low lunge. Adjust yourself. Take as much time as you need. When you're ready, reach the arms up. Including the pulsation if it feels good to you. Inhaling, lifting the hips a little. Exhale, sinking them down further. Just with your own breath. And then release the hands down. Curl the back toes under, step forward. Forward bend. And rising up. Maybe tucking the tailbone. Maybe leaving the pelvis relaxed. Standing back bend. And then hands together at the heart. And just taking a breath here, feeling your whole body. Inhale, reach the arms up. Standing back bend. Exhale, forward bend. From here, we're going straight to downward dog. So step both feet back. Take another couple breaths of exploration in your downward dog. Okay, feet together. Inhale the right leg back and up. Exhale, we're going into down dog lunge. So step the right foot forward, the outside of the right hand. So we have a wider stance than with the other lunge. Set your back heel down. And place your hands on the left side of your foot. So kind of a diagonal out onto that left edge of your mat. Good. So take a look at your feet and just see if there's any way you want to change them. Do you want to put your right foot out further? Do you want to turn your left foot in, your left foot out? You don't have to try and make it the perfect, correct, right alignment. You want to experiment and see what feels right in your body. The basic shape is that the legs are in warrior two position and your upper body is in a kind of a downward dog position to the left. Okay, now we're shifting into a twisted high lunge. So take your back heel and lift it up. And you're turning your whole body now sort of to face more forward. So back knee is lifted, back heel is lifted. Place your left hand on the ground and reach your right arm to the sky. So your lower body's like a high lunge and your upper body is twisting to the right. Now bring your right hand onto your right knee and set your back knee down. Staying in the twisted lunge family here, now we just have a lower twisted lunge. So your back knee's down and you twist to the right. And you can even push your hand into the knee, so feel free to let that right knee open up. Okay, release that. Bring your hands down, step back. And this time we'll go into a plank pose. So feel free to practice plank on your knees. You bring the knees back pretty far so you have that plank straight line in your body, or you can lift your knees up, so your choice. And experiment with your plank. Move your feet wider, move your hands wider or narrower. Find out what happens. Shift your shoulders forward or back. Engage your belly more, engage it less. Good, and now we'll set the knees down for puppy dog pose or anahata. So your thigh bone is vertical, hips right over the knees, walk your hands forward. And relax your heart down. Should feel like a shoulder stretch. Yeah. Feel free to experiment with your hand position, your shoulder position. Come through onto your belly, slide forward. Reach your arms back by your sides. This time we'll go into Shalabhasana, Locust Pose. So turn your palms to face down. Thumbs out, palms down. Exhale, and then when you inhale, lift the chest, the legs. Take a few breaths here. Feel your body adjust as needed. Good, and then release. Bring your hands forward, just take a little rest. You can rock your hips side to side, letting the back release. Okay, hands under the shoulders, go back to downward dog. This time in downward dog, we'll take a little twist. So take your right hand, reach it back to your left calf, and give a little pull. If it's too much for you, you can stay with both hands down in downward dog and don't take the twist. And then if you like the twist, change to the other side. Planting the right hand down, crossing the left arm back. Take hold of that right calf and pull a little bit. And then release, downward dog, feet together. Inhale, left leg to the sky. And exhale, step the left foot through. Left foot to the edge, left edge of the mat. So down dog, lunge. Back heel comes down. And walk your hands over to the right. So a lot of times the cueing we use in yoga, the way I use it at least, is to help you feel a pose more fully, to feel more completely the engagement that's available to you. But often the alignment gets taken for this perfect exact way we have to do it. And that's just not true. If the cueing helps you feel it better, that's great. But a lot of times it can bring us into a rigidity that may not actually be useful. You walk the hands back, lift the back heel up. So now bringing your lower body into like a high lunge, back heel lifted, back knee lifted. Right hand to the ground, left arm to the sky. Twisted lunge. Very deep breath into your rib cage. Okay, set the back knee down. Bring your left hand to your left knee. Twisting now in a low lunge. So you can let that left knee come out a bit. Lean back a little. Good, release. Bring the hands down, step back, returning to plank, choosing your knees down or knees lifted. But either way, the basic shape of plank is that we have that straight line with the body. Your straight line either goes from the knees to the crown of the head or from the feet to the crown of the head. Last breath, jaw relaxed. And then lower all the way down. Arms by your sides, palms down, thumbs out. Shalabhasana, Locust Pose. Exhale. Inhale, lift. And feel your aliveness in this pose. What muscles are working? How can you adjust your arms, your legs, the position of your head and neck to be optimal, to feel good, correct? And then slowly release. Bringing the hands under the head, just taking a resting breath, letting the hips rock back and forth. This approach of finding your own best alignment, of course, it's a little bit advanced because you have to be able to feel good in the poses. You can't be interpreting all your sensations as negative difficulty. If every difficult sensation is interpreted that way, there isn't a chance of you feeling what feels correct or good for you. So you do have to practice long enough that you get some tolerance and some enjoyment of challenge. When you can genuinely say that you enjoy challenge, that's when this approach will start to work really well for you. Okay, hands under the shoulders. Let's go back downward dog. And so maybe this time in downward dog, as much as you can, feeling into that sensation of enjoying challenge, wherever your body's shaking or stretching or feeling any kind of anything other than total ease. And see if you can feel it as vitality, aliveness, building strength, joyous activation. Feet together. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot through. Warrior two. So right foot between the hands, back heel down, rise up. So basic shape of warrior two is that the front knee's bent, the back leg's straight, the arms are out, and your torso is facing to the side versus warrior one where we're facing to the front. So that's our basic shape. And with that basic shape in mind, feel free to adjust the other parts. Exactly where your feet are, exactly how much your knee is bent. And if you're still at the place where you're just working on feeling joyous strength, then just work on that. Relax your jaw and breathe into the shaking muscles. Straighten the right leg. And now we'll go into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Reach that right arm forward. So basic alignment of triangle is that both legs are straight. They're about 4 feet away from each other, so nice wide leg stance. And your torso is kind of leaning back. It's more of a side opener than a forward bend. And within that basic shape, play, adjust. How can you change your feet? When you move that front right foot, how does that change your entire leg and hip position? If you move your right hand down further, what does that do? If you move the right arm up, so it's higher on the leg, what does that do? For the last 2 breaths in triangle, reach your left arm over the head so that you're stretching out the whole left side of your body. Yeah, and stretch that left side. Deep breath. And release the hands down. Bend that right knee and step back to plank. Less time in plank, but still a breath or 2. Your plank pose. And lower all the way down. Inhale into Cobra, or if you want to try Upward Dog, you can straighten the arms all the way and lift your legs, engage your legs so only the tops of the feet touch the ground. And then downward facing dog, curling the toes under, pressing back. Feet together, inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step the left foot through. Okay, warrior 2. So we've got the feet wide apart, back heel comes down. As you rise up, that front knee is bent, back leg is straight. Arms extend out. And adjust. Bring the back foot in closer. What happens? Bring it out wider. Change the position of that front knee. No, it's not dangerous, actually. It's not. Watch those weightlifters squatting with giant amounts of weight. You know, like moving your knee 1 inch is not gonna, unless you have a knee injury or unless it hurts you, don't do it. Breathe into the vitality in all your muscles. And then go ahead and straighten that left leg. Triangle pose, Trikonasana, both legs straight. Reach the left arm out and down. Try to keep your torso to the side. It's part of triangle pose. If you're bending down like this with your chest facing down, that's a different pose. Right arm to the sky. Breathing into your whole body. The feet, I find the feet are the main thing that change my experience of this pose, but you can also work with the torso, the rib cage, the shoulders, the arms. And then last 2 breaths, reaching the right arm over the head to stretch that right side of the body. And then release. Bringing the hands down. Step back to your plank. 2 breaths. And then all the way down onto the belly. You can inhale into Cobra or upward dog. In general, upward dog is a deeper back bend. It's more challenging. So keep your legs on the ground if you're more a beginner. And downward facing dog. From here, let's see. Step whichever foot forward you want to help you face the camera. So, or the video rather. Because we're just going to come up and do a squat. So have your feet pretty wide, 3 or 4 feet apart. Turn your toes out and squat down. And once you start to sink down, then you may find you want to bring your feet a little in closer or out further. Bring your arms out. Take a breath here. Feel into the feet, the legs, the hips. Do you need to adjust at all? Go down a little further. As you inhale, we're going to straighten the legs and reach the arms up. Bring the palms together, and as you exhale, draw the hands down through the center and bend the knees. So maybe go a little bit deeper than last time, and then inhale, rise up. Exhale down. So with your own breath, few like that. Making sure that your knees feel totally okay. Adjusting if you need to, just maybe don't go down so low if it hurts the knee joint. I'm going to do 3 more like this, and you can start to just kind of imagine this arm sweep is just clearing your energy out. It's just sweeping everything away, brightening up your whole experience. This is the last one. We're going to hold. Just bringing the hands to the heart. Breathe into your legs, strong legs. And straighten them. Good job. Now turn your feet. We're moving to a forward bend now. And we'll just adjust the feet so they're not pointed out anymore. They're kind of pointed in a little bit. Hands to the hips. Inhale, lift your heart. And exhale, fold down. So you can bring your hands to the ground. If you have a block and you like to use that, you can bring your hands to a block. Find out at this point if you want to change your feet. Are they pointed too far in, or maybe not enough? Relax your neck and head. Optional here if you'd like to reach behind you, interlace the hands. And get a shoulder stretch. Good, and then release that. Coming all the way up. So now we're going to change the feet a little bit. For me, I need them to be kind of halfway between those two we just did. So not pointed all the way out and not pointed all the way in, because we're going to shift from side to side. So you're going to bend one knee, and if you want to have some help with balance, you can bring your hands to the ground. If you want to do this and just work with your balance, you can have the hands floating. And we'll just shift from side to side a few times. Feel free to change your foot position as needed, because everyone's a little bit different with their knees. You don't have to go down as far as I'm going. You can stay up a little bit higher, like that. Relax that jaw. Getting a little knee cracking for myself. Good. One more each side. All right. Well done. Coming down to sitting now. Get your way down to your seat. Okay. Next is a twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana. So take your right knee down, right knee on the ground, pointed forward, left foot, cross it over. And it could be anywhere here. Anywhere around the knee is fine, even if it doesn't cross all the way over. Make sure you're not sitting on that other foot. Sit on the ground. And bring your left hand behind you. Inhale, right arm up. Deep inhale. And then exhale. You either hug that knee or cross the elbow over. So that's the basic shape. Go ahead and close your eyes and just feel into your spine, feel into the twist, and make any adjustment, maybe deeper, maybe going not so deep. Feels like a more engaged, awake, alive place for you. Sometimes in yoga we get the idea that the deepest, the farthest is the best. You want to go for that bind eventually and wrap your arm all the way around. But it's not necessary. What is your reason for doing yoga? Why do you spend the time practicing? What do you get from it? It's a good contemplation to have. Okay, and then release back to center. So we'll keep the legs kind of like this. You're going to stack now this top knee on the bottom one. So they may not get too much closer. It might look very similar to how we just were. Just bring it in as much as you can. And then we'll do a forward bend here. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, fold. You could walk your hands forward. You could have your hands on the knee. Sometimes I like to make a little stack with my fists and rest my head there. Should feel like a stretch in your hip. For most of us, this will feel like a stretch either in the left hip mostly, or it could be both hips that you feel it. And then slowly rise up. Good, and now we'll change legs for the twist, starting with the twist again. So now left knee is down and pointed forward. Right foot somewhere around that knee, maybe crossing over. You're sitting on the ground, not on your foot. Right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. And then exhale, cross it over, either hugging the knee works well. If the elbow reaches easily, you just cross that elbow over. And then close your eyes and go inside. And release back to center. Shifting the legs slightly now. Just bringing the knees as close as you can to each other. To fold over them. Deep inhale. Lift the chest. And exhale. Reach the chest forward as you go down. Giving yourself whatever support serves you best. And then slowly rise up. And we're going to have just a few moments of seated meditation. So find a comfortable upright position. And if there isn't one, feel free to lay down for the meditation, but we will do savasana after our seated practice. Just allow your eyes to close here. Any comfortable position is fine. Jaw relaxed. Do not try to focus. Don't hold any tension in your mind whatsoever. This should be really like a seated shavasana. You're relaxing completely. Relax your mind. If you feel completely lost, then you can pay attention to your breath. Just a few moments of being with what is. And then from here, we're going to make our way into Shavasana. So you can just slowly, gently, if you're enjoying seated meditation, you can stay seated. Whatever you'd like to complete your practice, guide you through a short Shavasana. So if you're not at a place yet during the strong portions of the practice where you can really enjoy the strong sensations, it's worth cultivating that as an intention. It's really been one of the greatest gifts I've received from my yoga asana practice, the ability to enjoy that vitality, to see sensations as just sensations, instead of immediately saying, this hurts, or this is uncomfortable. I need to see it as comfort, as feeling good. Even that is kind of just putting layers on top. If you can have the intention to experience sensation as sensation, that removes all the layers of judgment we put on top of things. So I'm just suggesting, if you're not there yet, to have that intention. And Shavasana is a good time to have it. May I experience sensations as sensations. And then you let it go. It's enough just to set the intention and then to release it. And relax everything. Relax your bones, your muscles, your mind. Relax your skin. And I'll read you something. This is from Abhinavagupta, a tantric sage in the yoga tradition. Right from the start, situate yourself outside of spiritual progression, outside of contemplation, outside of seeking, outside of skillful speech, outside of meditation, outside of concentration. What is, tell me, the absolute reality that leaves no room for any doubt whatsoever? Listen carefully. Stop becoming attached to this or that, and dwelling in your true absolute nature, take pleasure peacefully in the reality of the world. So you're welcome to stay in Shavasana and enjoy it for as long as you like. If you'd like to come up for the end of class now, then you may, and we'll Om together. Just taking a moment first to feel the results of that type of practice in your body, in your mind. And then we'll bring the hands together at the heart and take a deep inhale. Thank you for your attention, for your practice. Have a wonderful day.